What I would say is just be aware, your listeners want to know that they have options. And I could go through a big list of the options, but the short of it is you can kind of break them down into two categories. And the way I like to think of them is you can have individual accounts like a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA where there's a custodian involved. And on the flip side of that, you can have accounts that give a little bit more control to the individual client. So a couple of examples would be like a checkbook IRA or a solo 401k. And so the big difference is there's pluses and minuses to both, and one does not fit all. And this is where you want to contact somebody, a custodian, to kind of discuss what's a good fit for you. But here's the short of it. I would say for people that are fairly new and maybe don't have a lot of experience with using retirement funds or a little bit new to investing in general, I think for those folks, having a custodian, at least initially, is a good idea. And Whitney, the reason I think that that's a good idea is a custodian's actually going to look at the paperwork and kind of look over the individual shoulders to kind of give them a guide. And I think initially when someone's really new, that's probably a good idea. Now, obviously, when there's somebody doing that, there's going to be some more fees involved. And so as long as your listeners know going in that if there's a custodian, there's probably going to be a few more fees. That's just to be expected because we have to do a little more work to make sure that everything's going right. We want to make sure it's titled correctly and things of that nature. So for folks maybe like you or people that are a little more seasoned, have a little bit more experience, and don't necessarily need the custodian looking over the paperwork and making sure things are titled correctly, I think a checkbook IRA or a solo 401k offer people a lot more control to really do the transactions themselves and not have as much involvement with a custodian. So I think it is a personal fit, and it kind of depends on someone's comfort level with knowing the prohibited transactions and, you know, just that comfort level, being able to manage it themselves versus having someone kind of help and or assist them.